Why it is not connected? Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavat. Everybody hear me?
Yes,
Hare
Guruji.
Krishna. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraят Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 3, Verse 31. Tam tadvadartamupalabhya jagannivasah stotram nishamya dvijai saha samstuvadbihi chandomayena garudena samuhyamanas chakrayudho bhyagamad ashuyatho Gajendraha. After understanding the awkward condition of Gajendra, who had offered his prayers, the Supreme Person of Godhead Hari, who lives everywhere, appeared with the demigods, who were offering prayers to him. Carrying his disc and other weapons, he appeared there on the back of his carrier Garuda, with great speed according to his desire, his own desire. Thus he appeared before Gajendra. So Gajendra offered long prayers. After understanding his awkward situation, Hari appeared with the demigods and carrying his disc and other weapons, so which is Vishnu form, appeared there on the back of his carrier Garuda with great speed according to his desire. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur specifically hints that since Gajendra was in such a difficult position and was praying for the mercy of the Supreme Lord, the demigods who could have immediately gone to his rescue hesitated to go there. Since they considered Gajendra's prayer to be directed toward the Lord, they felt offended, and this in itself was offensive. Consequently, when the Lord went there, they also went and offered prayers to the Lord, so that their offense might be excused. So, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is giving us some insight here. That looks like the demigods were offended. Why do the demigods sometimes get offended, sometimes feel happy? Because they're not engaged in pure devotional service. This is the problem, right? So if one is in pure devotional service, their false ego will never overtake them. Of course, in some cases, it might be the arrangement of the Lord, but generally, demigods are sometimes caught up like this. And then they immediately realize. That's the other important thing here. They immediately realize. So they went along with the Lord. They also went. And they offered prayers so that their offense might be excused. So, material, like jivas on earth, human beings, they offend and then they offend for a long time, which means that Rajoguna, Tamoguna remains for a long time. But demigods, though they might have some momentary fall, something like this might transpire, but immediately they recover. So still they are more worshipable than jivas here. They're still engaged in the service of the Lord. And even devotees, they don't disrespect demigods. Even though we hear of such things in Bhagavatam, we should not disrespect them because they are still serving for the pleasure of Krishna. Of course, but we should understand that pure devotees are above all this. They're above all this material conditioning. Sontah sarassurbalena grihita arto drishtva garutmati harim khaupatta chakram Pyasambujakaram giramaha kruchran Narayana Khila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. Gajendra had been forcefully captured by the crocodile in the water and was feeling acute pain. But when he saw that Narayana, wielding his disc, was coming in the sky on the back of Garuda, he immediately took a lotus flower in his trunk. And with great difficulty, due to his painful condition, he uttered the following words: "O my Lord Narayana, Master of the universe, O Supreme Person of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you." So this is very amazing. See, Gajendra's condition was not that he just got caught up in this situation. He had been caught up in this for so many years, and his whole bodily functions, he had become weak. Constantly trying to fight the crocodile. So it was not that he was in a strong condition of body to offer any service apart from he already offered so much prayers. But still, he did service with his body also. So which means that, body was in bad shape. Still, he immediately took a lotus flower. This is devotion. Oh, my body is not all right, so we'll take it easy. But Gajendra didn't do that. Soon as he saw Vishnu on Garuda, he immediately took up a lotus flower. We might say, okay, if Vishnu or Krishna appears before me, then I will also do that. But Vishnu already appeared before us in the form of Archa Vigraha, and in the form of as represented by great Vaishnavas. And so we should have the same mood of service without considering too much about our bodily condition, etc. When we get an opportunity, we should try to serve. Of course, we also should not go overboard in troubling our body consistently to such an extent that the body will dwindle or body will cease to support us. But exceptional situation should be dealt with exceptionally. So we can learn from Gajendra's behavior. The king of the elephants was so very eager. See, Prabhupada. So very eager to see the Supreme Person of Godhead that when he saw the Lord coming in the sky with great pain and in a feeble voice, he offered respect to the Lord. Feeble voice, "Oh my Lord Narayana, Master of the universe, O Supreme Person of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you." So he said that in a feeble voice with great pain. A devotee does not consider a dangerous position to be dangerous. If in such a dangerous position, he can fervently pray to the Lord in great ecstasy. So 1 second. Fervently, what is the exact meaning? Profusely, I think, but anyway, 1 second. Enthusiastically. Fervently means enthusiastically. So in a dangerous position, devotee will enthusiastically pray. Enthusiastically pray to the Lord in great ecstasy. We can't understand this, I guess. How can somebody in a dangerous position pray enthusiastically to the Lord? And in great ecstasy. What kind of ecstasy is that? Some devotees say it's just like Kunti Maharani said, it's just an opportunity to remember and glorify you. So it's a matter of great ecstasy. So the devotee is enthusiastic. And because the devotee doesn't really bother about his material situation, he just takes that as an opportunity to glorify Krishna. Anyway, so this is something that we will have to meditate on this sentence a little more. I'm also not able to exactly understand the mood here, but I think it's important. It's the next stage of devotion, possibly, right? So enthusiastic, even in danger, be enthusiastic and pray in great ecstasy. So remember this sentence and then keep thinking about it. Thus a devotee regards danger as a good opportunity. Tathenu kampam susamikshamanaha. When a devotee is in great danger, he says that the danger to be the great mercy of the Lord. Ah, yeah, okay, this is what I said. Okay. To be the great mercy of the Lord, because it is an opportunity to think of the Lord very sincerely and with undiverted attention. So this is why he is enthusiastic. He's in ecstasy, because when things are not difficult, we know when we are chanting, when everything is going fine, chanting is horrible, right? Like mind is casual. You just go here and there, talk to people, chit chat. We are not focused on our chanting. But when we realize our dangerous situation, what is our dangerous situation? That we don't know how much time we have. And especially sometimes I feel, because, I've been in devotion for some time, and then I feel, like afraid whether I'm going to finish, whether I'm going to achieve perfection. And when that anxiety comes in, a devotee, then uh, the prayers, the chanting is fully attentive, yeah, not without diversion, and no scope for sleeping. This for all those devotees who are sleepy, lazy, uninterested in chanting. Please remember, it's true for all of us. We don't know how much time we have. If we are casual, saying that it's okay, tomorrow I will chant nicely, or next year I will chant nicely. What do we know? How long we have? And in case we have to face death before that, first of all, it will be a difficult condition situation to deal with, because we might still have our material attachments, because of which our mind is not focused on the chanting. So death, the process of death itself might be little troublesome. Number one. Number two, the opportunity to do devotional service in this life is lost now, and we don't know what is going to be our situation in the next life. So it's risk, it's a danger. Padam padam yad vipadam. So when we are chanting, we should be in this mood. Once one devotee said that chant like it's the last day of your life. But really, we should understand, saying that, we'll understand this once we understand how exalted is our goal. We're still not able to understand that. It's not easy, and we don't have much time. So unless this thought comes into our mind, saying that, oh my God, I don't know how much time I have. I'm losing time. I'm not able to chant nicely. I'm not able to do anything. I'm not able to make progress. Then that undiverted attention will come in everything we do. And automatically we'll also become humble, because we are feeling miserable that we are not doing nice devotional service and we don't have time and nothing in our hands. So we naturally will feel humility also. Which is why, as we make progress in devotion, all these qualities automatically appear in us, which we struggle for many, many years. But we should understand we are in a dangerous position. Don't take it lightly. Don't take situation lightly. So use everyday chanting as an opportunity to think of the Lord very sincerely and with undiverted attention, because we are in a dangerous position. A devotee does not accuse the Supreme Person of Godhead for having let his devotee fall into such a dangerous condition. Rather, he considers that the dangerous condition to be due to his past misdeeds, and takes it as an opportunity to pray to the Lord and offer thanks for having given such an opportunity. For given what opportunity we should thank Krishna for the suffering? Why? Because now we'll come to our senses. See, this is also very important, that it's not the devotees think that, oh, okay, so Shastra says I'm initiated, so now all my karma phala is gone. This is mercy of Krishna. No, we should not think that way. That is high-handedness. I mean, thinking that we have made progress. But the best of devotees think that no, 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 I'm suffering because of my own nonsense, my own misdeeds. I'm a worthless soul. I've done so much of mistakes in my past life that I have to suffer results of my karma. And so he takes the opportunity to pray to the Lord. Prays to the Lord. saying that, at least like now, please give me mercy so that I become a better person, become a better devotee. And that is a prayer. Mm. And thanks the Lord for having given that difficult situation, because otherwise, unfortunately, we don't learn if we don't suffer. This is our, low class intelligence. We don't learn unless we suffer. Our situation is when everything is going all right, we don't take things very seriously. So we take things a little bit casually and then we go fall. Mm. And then we become serious, saying, oh, I should not have done that. Mm. It's very, very important to understand. Good situation means take that opportunity to serve Krishna even nicely. Because when situation is bad, body doesn't support, mind doesn't support, nothing supports. Don't remain casual when things are going good, or when there are no upheavals, when there are no difficulties in life. Mm. When a devotee lives in this way, his salvation, going back home, back to God, it is guaranteed. We can see this to be true from the example of Gajendra, who anxiously prayed to the Lord and thus received an immediate chance to return home back to God. We should be very anxious about our fallen condition. Mm. Krishna Prema is far off, seems far off. How much more time we are going to take? Do we have so much time in this life? If it is another life, we don't know. There's already risk involved. Hmm. So in some sense, this has to make our heart heavy. We should feel helpless, humble, surrendered, serious, sincere. All this should happen just by this thought, saying, I don't know how much time I have, but I want to achieve perfection in this life. I don't want to come back again. I don't want to take that risk. I don't know what is going to happen if I come back again. संवीक्ष्य पीडितम् अजः सहसावतीर्य सग्राहमाशु सरस कृपयोज्जहार ग्राहाद्विपाटित मुखादरिणा गजेन्द्रं सम्पश्यतां हरिर् अमुमुछद उच्च्रियाणाम्. And thereafter, seeing Gajendra in such an aggrieved position, the unborn Supreme Person of Godhead, Hari, immediately got down from the back of Garuda by his causeless mercy and pulled the king of the elephants along with the crocodile out of the water. Then, in the presence of all the demigods who were looking on, the Lord severed the crocodile's mouth from its body with his disc. In this way, he saved Gajendra, the king of elephants. There is no purport to this verse, but very important to know that Krishna will do the needful. Krishna will do the needful. So we don't have to worry too much. We just surrender to him and leave it to him. Krishna will take care. So he did it by his causeless mercy. Oh, you can say, no, how causeless mercy, Prabhu? Gajendra offered prayers. Yeah, offering prayers is no guarantee that Krishna will reciprocate. As in, Krishna is not bound to reciprocate because we offer prayers. But Krishna generally reciprocates to his devotees. He might not reciprocate to prayers of some non-devotees if it is, maybe destructive for himself, for others. But a sincere devotee who prays to the Lord for, making progress in Krishna consciousness or wanting to serve Krishna nicely in a particular way, Krishna will reciprocate and he will do the needful. So with this, we end the third chapter. Fourth chapter, Gajendra returns to the spiritual world. Shri Shukovacha तदा देवर्षि गंधर्वा ब्रह्मेशान पुरोगमाः मुमुचु कुसुमासारं शंसन्तः कर्म तद्धरेः. Sri Shukadeva Goswami said, when the Lord delivered Gajendra, the king of the elephants, all the demigod sages and Gandharvas, headed by Brahma and Shiva, praised this activity of the Supreme Person of Godhead and showered flowers upon both the Lord and Gajendra. Purport. It is evident from this chapter that great sages like Devala Rishi, Narada Muni and Agastya Muni will sometimes curse someone. A curse of such a personality, however, is in fact a benediction. Both the crocodile, who had been a Gandharva in his previous life, and Gajendra, who had been a king named Indradyumna, both were cursed, but both of them benefited. Indradyumna in his birth as an elephant attained salvation and became a personal associate of the Lord in Vaikunta, and the crocodile regained his status as a Gandharva. We find evidence in many places that the curse of a great saint or devotee is not a curse but a benediction. So when great devotees chastise us, feel fortunate. Don't feel offended. Because their mercy. Maybe that chastisement was what was required for us to make tremendous progress. Here they are just sages, but they're all devotees. So when they curse, it'll all be in connection with Krishna somehow. The cursed jiva, like Nalakuvara and Manigriva. So many curses. But curses by devotees always beneficial. So this is one good observation. Both of them are cursed and they're fighting with each other in their next life. Nedurdundubhayo divya gandharvanandratur jaguhu rishayashcharana siddhastushtuvu purushottamam. There's a beating of kettle drums in the heavenly planets. The inhabitants of Gandharva Loka began to dance and sing, while great sages and inhabitants of Charana Loka and Siddha Loka offered prayers to the Supreme Person of Godhead, Purushottama. Purushottama Masa is coming. Purushottama. Everybody was happy that both of them were saved. Yosau graha savai sadyah paramascharya rupadrik mukto devala shapena huhur gandharva sattamaha pranamya shirasadhisham uttama shlokam avyayam agayata yashodhama kirtanya gunasatkatham. The best of the Gandharvas, King Hu, having been cursed by Devala Muni, had become a crocodile. Now, having been delivered by the Supreme Person of Godhead, he assumed a very beautiful form as a Gandharva. Understanding by whose mercy this had happened, he immediately offered his respectful obeisances with his head and began chanting prayers just suitable for the transcendental Lord, the Supreme Eternal, who is worshipped by the choicest verses. The story of how the Gandharva had become a crocodile will be described later. The curse by which the Gandharva took this position was actually a blessing, not a curse. One should not be displeased when a saintly person curses someone, for his curse indirectly is a blessing. The Gandharva had the mentality of an inhabitant of the celestial planetary system. And for him to become an associate of the Supreme Lord would have taken millions of long years. And those in Swarga, if they don't want, if they are engaged in sense gratification, coming in contact with the Supreme Lord will take them millions of long years. However, because he was cursed by Devala Rishi, he became a crocodile and in only one life was fortunate enough to see the Supreme Person of Godhead face to face. Oh, and be promoted to the spiritual world. Oh, okay. I didn't know this. Okay. to become one of the Lord's associates. So he didn't he returned to Gandharva Loka maybe temporarily, but he eventually went back to the spiritual world, looks like. Because sometimes even those who come in touch with the Supreme Lord, they will still retain material desires, unfortunately. But otherwise, if they surrender to the Supreme Lord, then Supreme Lord will not give them anything else but his own Dhamma. Similarly, Gajendra was also delivered by the Supreme Person of Godhead when he was freed from the curse of Agastya Muni. So he was cursed by Agastya Muni, and who was cursed by Devala. Both of them went back home, back to Godhead. सोऽनुकम्पित ईशेन परिक्रम्य प्रणम्य तं लोकस्य पश्यतो लोकं स्वमगान् मुक्तकिल्बिषः. Having been favored by the causeless mercy of the Supreme Person of Godhead and having regained his original form, King Hu circumambulated the Lord and offered his obeisances. Then in the presence of all demigods headed by Brahma, he returned to Gandharva Loka. He had been freed of all sinful reactions. So which means that subsequently maybe then he did devotion, because Prabhupada in the previous purport is saying he went to the spiritual world. But because he came in touch with the Supreme Lord, he was being freed of all sinful reactions. I went back to Gandharva Loka and possibly still had some sadhana to perform. Gajendro Bhagavat Sparshad Vimukto Gnana Bandhanat Prapto Bhagavato Rupam Pita Vasas Chaturbhujaha. Because Gajendra, king of elephants, had been touched directly by the hands of the Supreme Person of Godhead. He was immediately freed of all material ignorance and bondage. Thus he received the salvation of Sarupya, in which he achieved the same bodily features as the Lord, being dressed in yellow garments and possessing 4 hands. If one is favored by the Supreme Person of Godhead by having his gross body touched by the Lord, his body turns into a spiritual body. And he can go back home, back to Godhead. So immediately. But for that crocodile, he was not personally touched by the Lord. Though actually his Sudarshana is non-different from the Lord, but still looks like there is some difference. Prabhupada is saying that. Gajendra assumed a spiritual body when his body was touched by the Lord. Similarly, Dhruva assumed his spiritual body in this way. Archana Paddhati, daily worship of the deity, provides an opportunity to touch the body of the Supreme Person of Godhead. And thus it enables one to be fortunate enough to get a spiritual body and go back to Godhead. So, Pancharatrika Vidhi, that way is of great help, great mercy. Not only by touching the body of the Supreme Lord, but simply by hearing about his pastimes, chanting his glories, touching his feet, offering worship. In other words, by serving the Lord somehow or other, one is purified of my material contamination. So it's the same thing. It's not that only Pancharatrika Vidhi is giving this effect. Those who are attentively hearing, doing Shravanam Kirtanam, is the same effect. So we don't have to feel like, oh, no, now I'm going to drop all this and figure out some way to start doing deity worship. No. It is Pancharatrika Vidhi, this is Bhagavata Vidhi. Both of them are equally powerful. Of course, Bhagavata Vidhi is more powerful because it doesn't have so many rules and regulations. This is the result of touching the Supreme Lord. One who is a pure devotee who acts according to the Shastra and the words of the Supreme Person of Godhead certainly becomes purified. Like Gajendra, he assumes a spiritual body and returns home, back to Godhead. Savai Purvam Abhud Raja Pandyo Dravida Sattamaha Indradyumna iti Khyato Vishnuvrata Parayanaha. Now, a discussion about what is the previous life of Gajendra. This Gajendra had formerly been a Vaishnava and the king of the country known as Pandya, which is in the province of Dravida, South India. In his previous life, he was known as Indradyumna Maharaj. I'm going to read the translation directly. Indradyumna Maharaj retired from family life and went to the Malaya hills. He retired from family life, went to the Malaya hills, where he had a small cottage for his ashrama. So he was a king, but he had a small cottage for his ashrama. He wore matted locks on his head and always engaged in austerities. Once, while observing a vow of silence, He was fully engaged in the worship of the Lord and absorbed in the ecstasy of love of Godhead. So he was in love of Godhead. Difficult to understand. So he was observing a vow of silence and he was fully engaged in the worship of the Lord and he was absorbed in ecstasy of love of Godhead. While Indradyumna Maharaj was engaged in ecstatic meditation, worshipping the Supreme Person of Godhead, the great sage Agastya Muni arrived there, surrounded by his disciples. When the Muni saw that Maharaja Indradyumna was sitting in a secluded place, remained silent and did not follow the etiquette of offering him a reception, he was very angry. So he was doing a vrata. He was silent and he closed his eyes and he was meditating. Agastya Muni then spoke this curse against the king. This king Indradyumna is not at all gentle. Being low and uneducated, he has insulted a Brahmana. May he therefore enter the region of darkness and receive the dull, dumb body of an elephant. Now, this is the important thing for those who are worried about fairness. Prabhu, what that person said was not fair. I didn't do this at all. Simply that person shouted at me. It was not fair. It is totally unfair for Agastya Muni to be cursing Indradyumna. And Indradyumna Maharaj was also a devotee. He could have counter cursed, just like Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj's curse was also unfair. But we can learn from this. Devotees don't retaliate. They just accept everything as Krishna's desire. Very difficult, very difficult. I know we might say that, if somebody has done something, if I've done something wrong, then somebody can, whatever, chastise me, scold me, etc. But I have not done anything wrong. I've acted fairly, but that person was unfair. Whether somebody was fair or unfair, a devotee always thinks that it is a mercy of the Lord, that, I deserved this. I deserved this, so I got it. I must have done something similar to somebody. So it has come back to me. And devotee doesn't retaliate. But of course, we should understand, if a pure devotee himself doesn't retaliate, the Lord retaliates on his behalf. The Lord gets upset with the wrongdoer. So you have to be very, very careful dealing with devotees. Sometimes we don't even know what is the position of a devotee. Because devotees are not expected to show their spiritual position externally. If you do some harm, knowingly, unknowingly, intentionally, unintentionally, Krishna can be pretty much upset with us. Elephant is very strong. It has a very big body and it can work very hard and eat a large quantity of food. But its intelligence is not at all commensurate with its size and strength. Eating a lot of food, but it doesn't have so much intelligence. Thus, in spite of so much bodily strength, the elephant works as a menial servant for a human being. Agastya Muni thought it wise to curse the king to become an elephant because the powerful king did not receive Agastya Muni as one is obliged to receive a Brahmana. Yet, although Agastya Muni cursed Maharaja Indradyumna to become an elephant, the curse was indirectly a benediction. But by undergoing one life as an elephant, Indradyumna ended the reactions for all the sins of his previous life. See, the other thing is that devotees also don't retaliate because they don't know the intention of the Lord behind a situation. The intention here, the Lord allowed this to happen because in one next life he wanted to take him back home back to Godhead. Immediately after the expiry of the elephant's life, he was promoted to Vaikuntha to become a personal associate of the Supreme Person of Godhead Narayana. And a body exactly like that of a Lord. This is called Sarupya Mukti. So we can understand, simply accept whatever happens as Lord's mercy, be peaceful, be in Krishna consciousness. Mm. So it's important that, there are so many young devotees in ISKCON. They're so young that they can't possibly understand the seriousness of a situation like this where things could just come to a stop, because they are very, positive, energetic. I think, no, 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 I will work hard, I will do this, I will do that, everything will happen the way I want. But when they get to, by the time they get to understand life, which basically means karma phala, they would have lost time. Mm. A very, very important thing that we should not lose time. Already we've lost so many lifetimes. Fortunately, we've got this one, where we have come to the shelter of Srila Prabhupada. So we should not waste this life. I know, I can see that so many devotees are now becoming agitated with their material condition, that they are not able to do devotion full time, more time, etc. But we have to be patient. Understand that that Krishna will do the needful for a sincere devotee. We don't have to be very disappointed about our condition, that we have to work for so many long hours, etc., etc. Keep the desire to always serve Krishna and leave the rest to Krishna. Because everybody also has house and family and duties to take care. So we can't just do things whimsically. Like I was saying, it's a good problem to have. It's a better problem to have than devotees just, chilling and not being bothered. See, whenever we get time, we will do devotion. And anyway, let's enjoy. That's a worse problem, because that change from that mood is going to take possibly lifetimes. Mm. So this problem is better, where like devotees are sad because they're materially stuck. And then, like Gajendra, pray to Krishna for deliverance. I want to be able to do bhakti full time. Okay, Krishna will do it. Krishna will do whatever is required. Hmm. Shukadeva Goswami continued, my dear king, after Agastya Muni had thus cursed King Indradyumna, the Muni left that place along with his disciples. Since the king was a devotee, he accepted Agastya Muni's curse as welcome, because it was the desire of the Supreme Person of Godhead. Therefore, although in his next life he got the body of an elephant, because of devotional service, he remembered how to worship and offer praise to the Lord. This is the unique position of a devotee of the Supreme Lord. Although the king was cursed, he welcomed the curse, because the devotee is always aware that nothing can happen without the desire of the Supreme Lord. Unfortunately, we keep forgetting this, or we lose faith in this statement. Nothing can happen without the permission, without the desire. Again, although the king was not at fault, Agastya Muni cursed him. And when this happened, the king considered it to be due to his past misdeeds. He didn't say, see, I'm exalted soul, so Krishna has some plan for me. No, I did some nonsense. So, Tate Nukampam Susamikshmanaha. This is practical example of how a devotee thinks. He regards any reverses in life as blessings of the Supreme Person of Godhead. And sometimes we don't understand what or how this situation is a blessing. It might take us years. But when we realize, then we'll be super happy, saying that, yes, though I had done nonsense in my last life, I had to suffer so much. But Krishna even gave me benefit from that suffering also. Therefore, instead of being agitated by such reverses, which is what happens to normal people, they become very agitated. Why me? Why this? Why this time? He continues his activities of devotional service. And Krishna takes care of him. and enables him to be promoted to the spiritual world, back to Godhead. So we should not be agitated by our reverses, by our bad material condition. We just be patient, wait for mercy. Krishna will give mercy. Just we have to be patient and have faith. If a devotee has to suffer the reactions of his past deeds, the Supreme Lord arranges for him to be given only a token of these reactions. It's not even that we are suffering everything that we have to suffer. And very soon he is freed from all the actions of material contamination. One should therefore adhere to devotional service, and the Lord himself will very soon see to one's promotion to the spiritual world. A devotee should not be disturbed by unfortunate circumstances, but must continue his regular program. Regular program means his devotional activities regularly he has to just continue. Depending on the Lord for everything. Especially when our body doesn't support, we will understand how helpless we will be. Anyway, those who are suffering, they understand. And what does that opportunity, what does it give? It gives us an opportunity to depend on the Lord for everything. Krishna, I want to do this service. I don't know if I'll be able to do. Please give mercy. So we'll become dependent on the Lord for everything. It's a blessing. The word upadharayan, considering, is very important in this verse. This word indicates that a devotee knows what is what. Prabhupada is saying devotee knows what is what. He understands what is happening in material condition life. So devotee will not be in ignorance about his material life. He knows what is happening, why it is happening. Of course, some experienced devotees know immediately. Some others like us take long time to understand what is happening, why it is happening. But eventually devotee will understand. Krishna will give him the intelligence to understand. Hey, see, this was a benediction for you. It was not a suffering. Okay. So I think I'll stop here. I'll stop here. Any questions, comments? Anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Pranam, Prabhu.
Prabhu. Just a quick comment, Prabhu. Yeah, because when Lord saved, right, severed the head of crocodile, right? So that's the same question that arised in my mind because the Lord is absolute, killing and saving is the same. So I was also wondering, how come he got the body of Gandharva, but eventually Prabhupada clarified that he went back to spiritual world. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I mean, because for the Lord, saving and killing is the same. It's,
Yeah, but Lord killed so many asuras. They went to Brahman. Right? No, Krishna, of course, if he kills and somebody looks at him as a supreme Lord, then they will go to the spiritual world. So it's not that
okay.
everybody has the same destination, right? So the Lord, and of course,
Mhm.
the Lord doesn't like to touch anybody who is not qualified.
Okay,
Even though
okay.
it's all
I think
spiritual, he will not
he got
touch.
touched, Prabhu. Gandharva also got touched, or because
No,
he
no.
circumambulated, he went
Hmm.
back to spiritual world, or how did he?
No, because see, whenever he offered prayers, no, so we saw one
Mm.
verse, right? He saw the Supreme Lord and he
Yeah.
offered prayers.
Yes.
See,
Yes.
whenever somebody sees the Supreme Lord, knowing his
Mm.
supreme position and becomes devotional,
Yes.
automatically he gets the benediction of going to Vaikuntha.
Okay. He doesn't
Those who go to,
essentially. Mm.
yeah, nothing needs to be done. I mean, he's just so fortunate that he just landed in that situation where the Lord is in front of him. While
Mm.
those who are
Okay.
asuras, they, even though they see the Lord, they don't, devotional feelings don't arise in them, so they end up with Sayujya.
Okay. Okay.
Mm. Yeah. Okay, anything else? Okay, we will close. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की जय।